Welcome to the Dojotalkpodcast. Please remove them shoes before entry.
The master is here, and you still have not taken off your shoes.
Yeah. Living every day to define man's mission. Looking to the sky for divine transmission. Deaf man's vision makes the blind man listen. Eyes on the prize, this is blind ambition. Thank you.
Welcome to a very special edition of the JoJo Talk Podcast. I'm your host, Serial Sensei. We are on episode number 105, and it is currently 1:22 a.m. We just finished watching UFC 229, so these are very fresh, literally, might as well say real-time reactions. I'm joined with the Anti-Cool, and we also got Stoges in the building. How's everybody feeling right now?
This is the greatest night in MMA history.
So, since this is 1 a.m, I know normally we run through top cities and we shout out other promotions and cards that went on and all that. Nah, we're not doing that today.
Too much.
Yeah, too much happened on this card.
An event.
Right. Too much happened on this card. If I can remember imparting shots and shout outs, I'll try to shout some of y'all out. But yeah, don't hold it against me. It's literally 1 something in the morning. But we are just going to start from the top because we just witnessed
the greatest spectacle of our generation.
Yeah. This was a moment in history. Like if you didn't see this in real time, man, you missed out. So we'll just hop right into it, man. UFC 229 literally just went down. Khabib Nurmagomedov versus Conor McGregor. Super highly anticipated fight. All right, we'll hold off on the shenanigans because that could be a whole episode in and of its own. So we'll focus on the fight first. I posted on Twitter before this fight started that the first 2 minutes of this fight would tell me everything I needed to know, and that somewhat happened. I mean, Conor pressured him for a little bit. He tried like a head kick. 2 seconds later, he was on the ground. And he got controlled pretty much as I thought he would. I'll give him credit. All right, for the first round, he got controlled, but he didn't take like a ton of damage. Was the right hand the second round, or was that the first? I'm still kind of frizzled overall.
Second round.
Oh, second round, yeah. So, first round, he gets out, he gets controlled, but relatively speaking, didn't take a ton of damage, but you could kind of tell, like, oh boy, you might be in for a long one. Second round comes, Almighty Khabib, this is what's it in boxing? WBC? This WBC Khabib throwing hands out here. WBC Khabib floors McGregor with a right hand.
You won't believe how loud my house got. There's literally like 1, 2, 3. There was like 5 people, and you would think that there was 20 people when that happened.
Yeah, that was. I thought Khabib would dominate the fight, but not. I didn't see him flooring Conor with a right hand. Floors him with a right. They end up on the ground again, and it's kind of more of the same. And like every time he got Conor off the ground, he would lock Conor's legs up so Conor couldn't do anything. But I'll give Conor props in that he survived longer than I thought he would. And after that second round, I don't know if they had like an adrenaline dump. It seemed like both of them kind of slowed down a bit. And Conor was able to get out of a few bad spots. He stuffed a few takedowns, but just wasn't really able to amount much of an offense of his own. I mean, he got off some strikes, but it seemed like after that second round, he didn't have the same pop in him as he would normally like the first. And Khabib gonna Khabib, man. Like, grappling wrestling clinic on Conor before we get to, and that goes for another round. He just takes him down and just kind of, he did start to beat him a little bit in the third. You could tell like Conor was getting a bit winded. He was trying to hang in there, but Khabib is gonna Khabib. Like Khabib did to Conor what he does to everybody, and then in the fourth, more of the same. Ends with a a neck crank that I thought Conor was gonna get out of that, but you know Khabib has that next level of just godly strength. And we'll save the after fight till after fight. But nah, Khabib put on. It doesn't get more dominant than that. Like, this is kind of how I thought this fight would go. Like, if Conor can't stop this takedown, he has to get a finish because he has no other way to win this fight. And he gave a valiant effort. He had some moments here and there, but Khabib gonna Khabib. How did y'all feel about this fight?
Stokes, go ahead first.
Amazing performance by Khabib. Did anyone have Conor winning that third round? I kind of thought Conor won that third round.
I wouldn't argue if somebody gave him the third because they both were kind of gassed, but Conor was outboxing him. Yeah,
like before the fight started, I've never had my heart beat that fast in my entire life. Like, as I was like, I felt it, and like I just turned around to my friend and I saw him checking his heartbeat because he was doing the same thing. And then like, oh man, it was like, it didn't feel real. Like, oh
yeah,
I thought I was gonna have a panic attack, honestly. Like,
this was one of those fights where like we wanted this for so long, and then like it falls apart so many times, and now it's like this is a real thing now.
Divisive fight, you know, because there are like two sides that really kind of don't like each other, and it just felt like all boiling down to this 20 minutes, whatever. But that second round when Khabib was just laying it on Conor, like I was like, oh, that kind of worried me. I was like, Conor, Khabib, I hope you're not gassing yourself right now. Like, I was so worried because I still thought that after that second round, I was like, I still think Conor can win this, But as we see, Conor was no match, and he tapped to neck crank in the fourth, which I don't know. Like, in BJJ, I think it's kind of frowned upon when people tap to neck cranks. So, I don't know. Amazing performance by Khabib. He has legitimate claim to be the lightweight GOAT. That's all I got to say.
That's what, 27 and 09?
26 or 27?
Crazy. That is insane.
10, what? Is he 10-0 in the UFC?
11? I think 11 now, I think.
Yeah.
Man.
Sorry, BJ, but Khabib will wash you. BJ prime, Khabib prime, Khabib wins.
Oh, man. All right, Anti-Cool, how you feeling about this?
The fight? I'm going to stick with the fight. Oh, my God. So Stokes, I don't know if you watched any of the other BJJ Scout videos after you saw the Southpaw one. But
yeah, I watched the Conor and Khabib ones, and then the additional Conor Khabib one, whatever it was.
Right. One of the things he really pointed out that really benefited Khabib was that McGregor, when McGregor's in there, he's in the middle of the cage, and he's doing his whole push-pull counter game. What you end up with a lot is a false dichotomy. Guys think they either have to move away or come into the pocket. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the things he pointed out in his video. And one of his keys to victory for Khabib was to move left and right. It's one of the things he was doing really well in the Quinto fight, where he would hit him with that GSP, step to the side, pivot out, jab. And here, it's what got him his first takedown. Instead of falling into the trap of I have to face McGregor head on or slink away to the cage, he just moved to his left. And as McGregor was turning, he dove on the single and was able to run the pipe and get the takedown. And it was at that point I basically knew he won the fight because I didn't have a lot of confidence in McGregor carrying his power late into a fight. So when he went out there in the second round and basically had his hands down because he was worried about the takedown, I'm like, okay, he's already gamed himself out of a win because a large part of his game is having that arm high, that left hand can't cocked, so that he doesn't have to bring it up or it decreases the amount of distance he has to travel. So like I knew, and believe it or not, I think Khabib's like the faster fighter in terms of just like being able to move out of the way of just being able to move like left and right. So I figured, okay, he has to his punch has to travel farther now. He's not going to end up hitting Khabib, especially if he's worried about the takedown. And then he gets blasted with an overhand right.
That's gonna be on highlight reel for
Forever.
So from there, it's just Khabib takes him down, beats the crap out of him. That was a 10-8 round. Like I was legitimately shocked when we got down to 10 seconds and like McGregor was still not like put away all the way. Yeah, I like the little bit of veteran savvy he used. Kneeing as Khabib was going for the Kimura, he kneed him in the face from his back.
You got to do what you got to do.
I mean, you're losing 10-8. What's another point? It's not like they ever actually take points. So what you gonna do? I'm trying to remember round 3. This is all the chaos that happened after that.
3 was the round where Conor. It seemed like they both were kind of getting tired, but
right.
Conor was landing good shots in round 3, but the problem was you could tell
they weren't shots that were going to put anybody away.
Right. He didn't have that same pop. Like if he would have landed some of those in round 1, this fight might have went different. But yeah, they didn't have the same pop in round 3.
Right, and from there it was just and for round 4 it was just easy street. Just get him down, take his back, put the crank in. Yeah, no, just all around great performance from Khabib. Like he didn't have to make a ton of adjustments, to throw Conor off, but he made the ones he needed to make it a one-sided fight.
I mean, to be honest, is technique-wise, I don't think it's much more to break down in this fight. Up to this point, it's like if you've seen a Khabib fight, you know how they go, and this one was no different.
Right.
I feel like the only thing you can say about this one is like now I tend to judge Khabib fights on did the guy get mauled terribly or was it just like you rate the scale of just like savageness. It's like right. was it Michael Johnson bad or was it this wasn't
Tebow.
Right. So
and props to McGregor because like he fought a good fight. He did what he thought he had. Like he
it's kind of like the Barboza fight where it's like you did
everything you could.
Right, you did everything you could. Like I can't really look at your game plan and like be mad at anything you did. It's kind of like the guy you're fighting is just he's that good that it doesn't matter. Like he just kind of shuts you down. Right. And
like let's be real. Like I don't like, with the exception of maybe Tony Ferguson, who's just whose power to will things into existence might be stronger than Conor McGregor's. Like, I don't think anybody gets up. Well, I shouldn't say that. I don't think anybody beats Khabib when he's operating the way he was operating today.
We'll get into that before we get into the after the ring chaos, because that's what I was thinking about as soon as this fight was over. There are only 2 people I could possibly see beating Khabib. One would be Tony Ferguson, and the other name I can't believe I'm going to say because I never used to believe in this guy. I think Kevin Lee could give him some problems.
I think he could too, honestly.
I think Kevin Lee could give him some problems.
I'm not sold on Kevin Lee yet because I've seen him get taken down by guys who weren't as good as Khabib.
Yeah. I just think him and they're kind of similar in a way, even though I would say Khabib's grappling definitely just better.
Right.
But they're both really strong dudes that can hit, not, the best striking in the world, but they can throw. They can both wrestle. I think if Kevin Lee, the only problem with Lee is I don't know too about his cardio if they were to go deep into, 3, 4, 5 rounds, like if he's gonna hold up for that long. But I think at least for like 2 rounds he could hang with Khabib, and then when we get into the 3rd and 4th, if it goes past that, got Godspeed. good luck to you. I guess you got to think the Ferguson fight has to happen next.
I mean, I hope if Khabib ever fights again.
Oh yeah, all right.
Come on.
Before we get to that, what would you like to see next with McGregor? Because I'm gonna say we can't do a rematch. This fight does not warrant a rematch. Like you got bodied. Like I mean, I'll give you your props. Conor did better than I thought he would, and like we said, it's not that his game plan was really bad. He did what you would want somebody to do as best as they could, but it's Khabib. But who would y'all like to see Conor fight next?
Finish the trilogy with Nate.
I mean, that's the money fight, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Nate or GSP, because that's the fight GSP and Conor want.
Yeah.
Poor Woodley. He's probably. I just thought about that. Poor Woodley. He's not getting that fight now. Yeah, I'm not mad at those, GSP or... Even though, I feel like the GSP fight, I'm not going to say it won't mean anything. It's just because I feel like GSP, we kind of know what he's fighting for now. It's just kind of I just want to get big fights. And it's not really going to lead to anything, but for entertainment purposes, I guess I'm all for it. But no, he's got no shortage of people to fight at 155. That's the one division you don't have to worry about that problem. So we'll see. But after the fight, chaos. So let's get into Malice at the Palace, the sequel.
Oh.
So for anybody who didn't get a chance to check this out, so Khabib wins via neck crank. Fight's over. As expected, kind of after the fight, Khabib kind of held on to the choke. After he let go, he still stood over Conor. I get it. If you know the story to the lead up to this fight, you knew that the beef was kind of crazy. A lot of wildness happened prior to this, so that part didn't surprise me. You think Khabib is going to the cage to sit on top and celebrate, but nah. Khabib wants all the smoke. He's ready to go another 5 rounds. And Khabib jumps out of the cage
and attacks Dylan Davis.
Goes straight for Dylan Davis. He had Danis in the crosshairs. He went straight for Danis. So they're scrapping in the crowd. Pandemonium breaks out. They come back in the cage. I think Conor's people at that point, jumped in, and I just see fists being thrown. Conor was fighting and at that point, I almost felt bad for Conor because I feel like he didn't fully know what was going on, and then another fist was in his face after he just got pummeled. Chaos is just breaking out. Fights are happening everywhere. Joe and everybody on commentary is quote unquote disgusted. I will get to that in a second.
What a joke!
I want to know how y'all think Drake was handling it, because he was right there.
Oh my God, he was shitting himself.
No, I'm gonna tell you. No, Drake went to the other locker room and he put on the hat. That's what Drake did. Listen, Drake is not out here really in anybody's corner. He is trying to make the best money move possible. So Drake put that flag down and went and put that hat on, and we will see Drake and Khabib next week. But the craziest thing out of all the fights and post just violence after the fight. So they have this moment where finally it somewhat calms down. They bring Khabib makes his way back in the cage somehow after it looked like everybody got escorted because it was about to be a riot in that building. And Khabib, I guess, is trying to still do the whole post-fight, I want my belt around my waist. Dana is in the middle of the ring. I'm paraphrasing, like, nah, bro, we can't do that. If I put this belt on you, people are going to riot. Somebody's going to die. We can't do that. And so there's no post-fight anything. Khabib doesn't get his moment, which, he kind of his fault. He didn't get his moment, but we'll get into that in a second. And then they kick everybody out. It's over. There's no post-fight, nothing. We got a post-fight fight. And after the post-fight fight, we all had to go home. But yeah, so real quick, and then I'll shut up. This
UFC website's down.
The post show is going live right now on YouTube.
I gotta see this shit. Continue talking. I'm gonna just have it on in the background.
So, for anybody who's an NBA fan, if we all remember that fateful year of Malice in the Palace,
you mean the greatest moment in the history of the NBA?
So, if you guys don't know what that is, pause this for a second. Go watch the first 40 seconds of Malice in the Palace, and you'll get an understanding for what happened after Conor and Khabib. But also, while you're watching Malice in the Palace, pay attention to the commentary, because this is exactly what they made me think of. Everybody, Joe and everybody else commentating is like, oh my God, this is terrible. This is disgusting. And it's like, on one hand, okay, I get it. Like, this was a really, really, really good card. This was one of the biggest cards of the year. This might be card of the year. I don't know. It's up there. And you don't want this to end that way. You don't want people getting hurt because the fans of both these two fighters are crazy. I wouldn't be surprised if, like I said, we're recording this at 1 a.m. I wouldn't be surprised if we wake up, 6-7 hours from now and find out there was a brawl in the parking lot.
I was on Twitter before and they were there are cops blowing whistles and shit outside the T-Mobile Arena.
Yeah, it's probably going down, or it might have been about to go down.
And I'll get to it in a second about why this is. So yeah, we'll get to that in a second. But there might actually be I don't want to put this out there, but there are probably going to be some I don't want to say casualties, but
somebody might get hurt.
Somebody might die tonight.
Yeah, real deal. And
I guess
you hope it doesn't get to that point. But people are kind of...
all the shit that surrounded this fight.
Yeah. It wasn't normal circumstances. We've seen beef with fighters, but this one was really, really personal. But
especially the people these guys move with.
Yeah.
Just for the record, the post-fight on YouTube's up to 200,000 people.
So keep in mind, and I'm covering our tracks, in case something terrible did happen by the time we wake up, at the time I'm talking this second, it is 1:46 a.m. So I don't know if hopefully nobody got seriously hurt. So, just throwing that out there. But, so of course, I hopped straight on Twitter because I had to see reactions to this. Because I was like, I hope everybody is as entertained as I am, because this is another level. I never thought I would see this in MMA. I don't know why I didn't think I would, but it happened. But this whole, I'm disgusted. Can we stop? Can we not? Can we? No. Or if you're gonna do it, you have to be consistent. If you weren't screaming for this when Conor was throwing dollies, when Conor was smacking referees, while his homeboy was in the cage, that whole incident, like where was you know the phrase keep the same energy. Where was that energy then? Why was nobody? Y'all weren't disgusted then. It was all fun and games. It was all entertainment. You know, it was all good when Conor threw a dolly at a bus and broke a window, and poor Ray Borg got his eyes cut open. You know, and it's all cool when people are making fun of Thug Rose because she's still afraid to come outside. It was all cool then. So now when Khabib does it, and he really brings the heat. Not now all of a sudden it's a big. And I'm not saying that I condone it. I'm just saying be consistent.
I condone
it. I'm just saying be consistent. If you're gonna be mad at Khabib, then you better have been furious at Conor when he was doing it. If you were not furious at Conor when he was slapping commissioners, bro. Like,
dude, he slapped the shit out of Mark Goddard.
Right. Like,
this wasn't even a year ago. Or was it a year ago? I don't even remember. Fucking the timeline's all fucked up. But like, oh my, this shit happens. Like, the Diaz brothers stomped out Mayhem Miller.
Oh man,
that was a thing that happened.
That was a thing that happened.
Like, I don't know what to tell. Like, all right, before we get too much into our love of debauchery, should probably explain why this happened.
I'll let you handle the story breakdown.
Well, it started. I'm assuming it started like 2 years ago when Artem Lobov, who is himself a Russian, came out and said Khabib Nurmagomedov isn't a real Russian, and I'm not super familiar with all the different Russian cultures. Russia's a big ass country. Spans the entirety of like Asia and goes into Europe and shit. Like, it's really big. I'm not familiar with all of it, but from what I understand, Khabib's popular in Russia, but he's only popular with certain sects of Russia, as in like the Muslim sect and like the Dagestani sect. Everybody else kind of like, he's kind of a controversial figure. So you have Artem Lobov, who is Conor McGregor's best friend and training partner, talking shit about basically attacking his nationality. Says that if he ever saw him in real life, he would slap the shit out of him. So Khabib does what Khabib does, and he checks him back at UFC. What was it? 207? I don't even remember. It was earlier this year. It was in April. But right before he fought Al Quinta. That's when we get the incident with the dolly. But also tying it in, because McGregor did get punched after the fight was over tonight by one. Hold up, I had to pull up his name because I'm shit with these names. Zubara Tukharov. I want to say that's the dude Dom Cruz said was the dude who punched McGregor after the fight. For those who don't know, Zubara was there, and he said some shit in Chechen, because he's Chechen, to Lobov and Lobov's crew, because there were some other Russian dudes there. One of the other Russian dudes was Chechen. I can't remember his name. Islam something. So that kind of sparked up a lot of controversy on Russian and Chechen social media, as in like Zubara was getting like death threats. He had to issue like public apologies and shit. And then Conor McGregor came out with a post on Instagram saying, "No true Chechen attacks another Chechen for like a Dagestani." So you're poking the ethnic wars there. And again, I'm not familiar with like Russian history like that, but I'm assuming Chechnya and Dagestan don't have a simpatico relationship. So you got that going on. You got all the shit that Conor's camp is basically releasing about about Khabib and his religion. I wish I had the quote in front of me. But just to be clear, this is a result of that, just as much as it is the Dolly incident.
Right. This was a build-up.
This is they finally got all these dudes in one place, so we're gonna go beat their ass. Because it wasn't just it was Dylan Danis, it was Conor's coach.
Oh yeah, it was there. Yeah, this is the whole squad.
Right.
This was like you bring your we meeting after school in the parking lot, and it's going down. Like
right. I'm sure that Conor, this was all just a giant game. Talking I can't get past that. Tukadov was getting death threats for shit Conor and his team said, real death threats.
Yeah.
And if you know who these people and I'll get to that in a second. If you know who these people run with, that's some serious shit. Also, I just want to point out, again, neither guy, outside the cage, I feel safe saying, neither dude's, really a good dude because of who they hang out with, because, Conor is actually boys with a lot of dudes in the Russian, mafia. Not Russian, Irish mafia. There was that whole story last year about, him, getting in trouble with some dudes in, Western Europe. Cartel members who were trying to stick him up for his money. Apparently, he's close with the Irish mafia. He was seen attending one of their funerals. He has that going for him. And then you got Khabib, who's close with Chechen warlord and Instagram star Kadyrov, who had a bit of international backlash last year because he was rounding up gay people and killing them in Chechnya. So just going neither dudes.
I was gonna say this got dark really quick.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
So when we say there might be a casualty by morning, I'm assuming that some of the dudes from Kadyrov, I'm assuming some of Khabib's boys, I'm assuming some of McGregor's boys are going to be looking for some trouble tonight.
Yeah. And Stoges, hold on, I'll let you get into Stoges real quick. But one more point I'll make to people out there, and this doesn't really just apply with just MMA. This applies not even just in sports. This applies in life in general. Especially to younger. This is me putting on my old head. This is my old head speech. I'm 29 years old. I grew up a lot of my childhood in East Baltimore. East Baltimore teaches you to be street savvy. You just pick up on things. There are some people out here that it's not a game to them. We're in the social media age, we're in the hype beast age where people just want to talk, and they think it's all fun and games, and it'd be cool if you would just kind of just talk. If had Conor only just talk trash to Khabib and Khabib did that, then I could see all the anger. But when you take it that personal and you're literally your friends are involved, you throwing dollies at buses, there are some people out there this isn't a game to them. They're really about that life. This is no longer Twitter beef. No, I'm going to see you in public, and when I see you, it's going to be a problem. There are some people who operate like that, and some people you can't play that game with. You might not condone it. You might not think it's I don't know the word, bad sportsmanship. Some people just roll like that. You can't play that kind of game with them unless you're really willing to go there. And I think this was one of those situations where it got really real, and I wasn't surprised at all. But no, some people are really about that life. So if you're gonna take it to that level, you better be ready to really, really go there. Because clearly, as we saw after the fight was over, Habib is really him and his whole crew. They're ready to go there. So
Like,
this isn't some just game to them.
like Khabib doesn't need to fight any like another day in his life. He's set. Like, it is all about pride to him. And like, I don't know. Like, he shouldn't have done what he did. I understand why he did. But I don't condone it. But I'm not gonna sit here and be like, this is the greatest travesty in the history of the UFC.
No, not at all.
Like we mentioned before, the promo for this fucking card involved Conor McGregor throwing a dolly through a window, nearly ending Ray Borg's career, ruining Michael Chiesa's shot at a title, traumatizing poor Rose Namajunas, who's probably suffered more trauma than any person needs to in their entire life up to this point. Like, you're not gonna get me to feel bad for McGregor and the squad. You know what I mean?
Yep. So I said, man, keep it consistent out there, people. But Stoges, how did you feel when when that first outside of the ring punch got thrown?
There are currently 425,000 people staring at an empty dais waiting for Dana White.
Oh my god.
Oh my
I feel the same sentiments as all you guys. Like, Conor's crew likes to talk. They think it's a big game and whatever. Art of him fucking says that he's gonna slap Khabib the next time he sees him. Well, fucking Khabib's gonna come check you. Conor wants to bring fucking family religion into this. Then fucking Khabib is gonna make you tap. And fucking Dan, if you want to keep talking shit after the fight, Khabib's gonna fucking jump over and try to kick your ass. So don't be surprised.
Like,
I had to be terrified.
I have a video right here of Dylan Dana's. I'm assuming it's him because it's this stupid dyed hair. It's kind of hard to see. Just like being pulled away from Khabib as he jumps into the crowd. And
That's got to be terrifying, man. You look up and Khabib is over the cage.
Damn.
Oh, I'm running. I'm out of there.
Like,
I don't
he
want none of that
is
smoke.
trying to get out of there.
Oh,
God
yeah,
damn.
I'm out of there. You wouldn't have needed security. I would have ran as soon as he jumped on the cage. I'm out of there.
Oh no, Dylan Dennis is out. Oh wait, he's trying to come back in. Oh, they pulled Khabib back to the cage.
Oh man. So yeah, since you got the press conference on, whenever it finally starts, let us know if Khabib is going to do some hard time. They better not like pull some we're stripping Khabib of the title.
You know they
Yeah.
are.
Honestly.
That's what they're gonna do. They're gonna put on Tony Ferguson, and then they're probably gonna have not Nate. They're either gonna do an interim title fight between Poirier and Diaz, or they're going to like put Ferguson versus McGregor next for the title.
You heard it here first.
Trash.
That might happen. But
I mean, it is what it is.
it is. But
Fuck. I got fucking fuck commentary too. Like, Rogan, all those dudes saying, "Oh, it's so disgusting." Like, fucking Rogan is such a fucking talking head. Like the last 3 fucking years or whatever. Like, he's such a fucking sellout now. Like, him and fucking Schaub and Callan try to act like, "Oh yeah, we're just real dudes. We're real dudes." And like, dude, go fuck yourself. You guys are fucking sellouts. Like, where the fuck? If you're gonna hate on Khabib, then hate on Conor. Don't fucking make it so one-sided and so fucking obvious. Like,
you know, my problem is, has the UFC ever even fucking mentioned that Conor, like, on commentary? Have they ever mentioned that this fight was made because, in large part, because Conor just fucking went ham on a bus?
I say, aside from the promo, I don't know if they really. They definitely didn't talk about it tonight. I don't. Not that I remember.
Exactly. So, like,
Yeah.
you know, my issue isn't that they took disgust with what Khabib did. My issue is your job on commentary. Talk about what's happening. You know what I mean? Like, talk about why this is happening. Like, don't just sit there and act like, you know, this sport is better than this, because one, they know for a fact it's not. Like, also, if you watch any like regional Russian MMA that isn't like ACB or Fight Nights, like you'll see this shit like once a week. Like these dudes do not give a fuck.
Like I said, and that, for me, like I said, it's kind of echoing what you said. I'm not mad at the disgust. I'm just mad at consistency. That's all I want. If you're mad at Khabib, then you should have been furious at Conor.
You should have been furious this fight got made in the first place.
Yeah, you need to keep that. You need to keep that energy consistent. You can't be flip flopping and choosing sides. I need you to be angry at both.
Also, to make things clear, I condone Khabib going over the fence, but I do not condone Conor getting sucker punched or whatever by Khabib's teammate or whatever.
Yeah, I felt kind of bad for him because he was probably so winded. Like, yeah, that had to suck. But we'll see what happens. Who knows? Like I said, we might end up breaking news in the middle of this podcast by the time that press conference is over.
I mean, we're getting near 500,000 people watching empty test.
Dana is in the back.
There are no other, like, I just want to point out, there's just one chair. There are no other fighters on the, like there's no chairs set up for the fighters.
They sent everybody home, like, when you were in school and, like, the fire drill, like, but it was real. They sent everybody. Dana is going to come in and do a one-man, like, post-conference, and he's just going to sit in a chair, and he's just going to cuss until, like, the veins in his head pop out. Oh, man, like, this is...
You know, the angriest part of me right now tonight at Khabib Nurmagomedov is his actions deprived us of a post-conference Derek Lewis interview.
Yeah. And that would be the only part of, like, what am I trying to say? That would be the one thing in terms of them being disgusted that I could agree with is, like, you had this really great night of fights, and a lot of fighters put on really great performances, and it might just kind of get overshadowed by kind of this craziness. So that portion of it could kind of suck. Like, if you're Vicente Luque, who we'll get to eventually, who put on a really great... Oh, man, I have so much to rant about that fight. I'm trying to... Whatever. You know what? Let me shut up, because I'm going to get angry if I talk. You know what? Let's just go to the next fight. I'll get to that. I'll get to that when I get to that. But
where do you guys rank Khabib all time?
Lightweight?
Lightweight or pound for pound, whatever.
It's hard because, like, his best wins are McGregor, who has one win at lightweight. Johnson, who is inconsistent, like, is a good win, but is inconsistent. And then, like, Edson Barboza.
I think he's got to be... Oh, lightweight is so hard, though. It is. That's the one division where, like, you want to make a top 5 of all time, man. It is... It's hard. But I'll say... I don't know about pound for pound. I think that's a... I can't talk about pound for pound, but as far as just lightweight as a whole, if somebody wants to throw him in the top... I don't know. You give him top 5, top 10. I'm not going to argue with you. It's kind of hard to say in the moment because those are the kinds of things I really need to research. But just off of emotions of this fight, I guess at this very moment, if you threw Khabib in your top, I'll say top 10. If you throw him in your top 10, I won't argue.
You gotta put him top 5. I feel like top 10's a little bit. Like,
yeah, I won't argue with that either. I won't argue with that either.
Do you think, like, BJ, Frankie, Bendo, like, whoever you have in your top 5 list, do you think any of them actually beat Khabib?
No.
I think a prime... Nah, not... Yeah, that's... I wanted to say I feel like a prime Bendo because he was such a good wrestler, and prime Khabib would be a good match. But Bendo didn't really have great hands like that. I don't know. I would really have to think about that.
All right, it's official, listener. Khabib's the greatest lightweight of all time.
It's hard for me to have these discussions in indie sports because it's so many variables I try to like think of.
Yeah.
It's
I know what you mean.
But no, he's if you say top 5, I'm not gonna argue with you. Like literally based off of him, 26-0. That's crazy. Like winning 20 fights in a row in MMA is insane. And like we just saw mentions, or I'll mention PFL. For anybody who didn't watch, Andre Harrison, his 20 fight streak just got snapped. He lost to Lance Palmer. It's crazy that he even made it to like 20-0. So to be 26-0 is like, that's like unheard of. But nah, that fight was wild. We talked about that for 45 minutes. But it was a lot, and we'll probably still.
Whoa! Like we got police officers at the press conference.
Oh boy!
Apparently, some of Khabib's boys got arrested. Which
I wouldn't doubt it. There are probably a lot of cuffs.
I wonder where Ali is.
It's gonna be a lot of court hearings. It's gonna be some assault charges. It's gonna be a lot going on. We have not heard the last of this card, boy. It's gonna be crazy. But that was the main event, man. That was a classic for many reasons. So go watch that if you didn't, and watch all of the post-fight. Watch the fight and the post-fight fight, because it got real. But moving on to the co-main event. Tony Ferguson, Anthony Pettis. So I went out on a limb last podcast, and I picked Pettis to win this fight. I don't feel bad about my pick still, even though, you know.
Yeah. You almost got it right.
You got, Pettis. I'll still say this in confidence. I think Pettis did a lot better than anybody was willing to give him credit for. I think people thought Tony was going to roll in round 1, steamroll, get him out of here. He's going home, no fight. He's part of the fight went like that, but Tony did come in, immediately put just ridiculous amount of pressure on Pettis. But Pettis, man, he was firing back though. Like, I think Pettis, I would still say, made this fight more competitive than people thought it would go. He managed to rock Ferguson once. Couldn't finish him. Dudes were getting hit with elbows. Blood is flying all over the place. At one point, Pettis had Ferguson on the ground. He has blood pouring from his head, and he just sticks his tongue out like he's a madman and just starts screaming. Tony Ferguson has the craziest, like, recovery tactic I've ever seen.
Just roll around. Just roll around till you get away from him.
Who in their right mind gets blasted with a right hand, and instead of clinching, like, bro, I'm just gonna do a roll. Like, I'm gonna do a James Bond roll in the middle of the match to clear my head out. Only Tony Ferguson. But, like, if any other fighter did this, you're getting jokes nonstop. But it's Tony Ferguson. It's like, that's just Tony. Like, this is just what he does. But props to Pettis, man. He put up a valiant effort, but Tony just, his pressure is just, it's insane. Like, I don't know how you really survive that, unless you can put him out, which Pettis almost did, but he couldn't close the deal. Because, like, if you can't put Tony out, dude, you are in for a long, painful, just brutal fight that most likely will not end in your favor. And Pettis, man, like I said, he put up a valiant effort. He had some good moments. Couldn't finish the fight due to a broken hand. And as much as we talked about this on this podcast, I'm going to give all the props in the world to Duke Roufus in his corner for not letting him go out. Because we've seen plenty of fights where fighters go out into rounds that they just they never needed to see. And if Roufus, as long as Pettis has been at that camp, if Roufus say you can't go out, bro, you can't go out. And I'm not mad at it for stopping. I'm all for protecting fighters. Live to fight another day. And if probably no consolation because he's a competitor, but you did way better than most people thought he was going to do. So, you know, quote-unquote moral victory, I would guess at least. I don't think his stake drops, in my opinion, after losing this. I don't think he really loses much steam. Because I think he overperformed in a lot of people's eyes. But Tony Ferguson, boy, that is a Wolverine in real life is literally what he is. Just straight out of the X-Men. That is Tony Ferguson in real life.
Okay, wait. Oh, it's Tony Ferguson now.
Oh.
The guy that no one wants on the podium.
Oh, man.
Great performance by Tony. Before the fight, I was a little worried. Like, I wasn't sure if he was, like, fully healthy, and also I was, like, a little worried. Like, you know, maybe Tony's window has closed, but, you know, he proved he's back at it. And, did you notice when, like, that first kick happened and commentary was, like, going wild about, oh, Tony's limping? Like, did you guys notice him limping? Because I didn't notice him limping.
I didn't see anything from this angle.
Yeah. Like,
No, yeah, I didn't, you know.
I don't get why Rogan and them were, like, fucking... I don't get a lot of things they do, but I didn't see that limp at all. Whatever.
I mean, if he was limping, it didn't really show much because he was still in Pettis' face the entire time.
What a... In that second round, did you guys have Tony or Pettis winning that? I thought Tony stole it back.
Yeah, Tony winner.
I think at that point I'd stopped scoring. I was just watching. There was so much blood flying. I had no idea what was going on. I was just enjoying violence. I couldn't even score it. But no, I think you could tell though that I think had that fight went on for another round, I think Tony was still in momentum back, and that he probably would have, if that would have went to a third round, I think he would have finished really strong. He might even have got Pettis out of there.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, it was. But that was a great fight though. It was.
Tony, like he deserves a title shot, whether it's against whoever is the champion. Fucking who knows?
Right.
But
by
Tony,
the time we wake up.
Yeah, Tony, he deserves the next shot, no matter who it is.
Yeah. No, it was a great fight. Like that, it was fight of the night up until Pettis broke his hand. And again, shouts to Duke Rufus. You know, because we've seen guys go back in there with less. In fact, we saw that earlier in the night when Gray Maynard hobbled out from the corner and landed a right hand that justified him going back out after getting his ass beat in the first round by Nick Lentz. So shouts to, like, I'm curious if this has something to do with Rufus Sports' history with bad cornering. But yeah, topic for another day. Yeah, I was like Stoges. I was worried that Ferguson's window has probably closed. Like he's been getting more and more banged up in like recent years, and we all know he's absolutely batshit insane and has no idea how to take care of himself. Essentially, like, did you hear Dominic Cruz on commentary when Anik and Joe told him that Ferguson had tore everything in his leg like 6 months ago, and he didn't get any type of physical therapy for it? It was just like, wow.
Tony Ferguson is literally like, he's the character in the anime after he just lost a fight where he got brutally beaten, and he still tries to go back out 2 seconds later for his rematch. And he just like pulls all of the IVs off of his body, and he just hobbles out of the hospital. Like, I feel like that's what Tony did.
It's the Paul Pierce wheelchair game.
Man, Tony is, yeah, that's a madman. At the press conference, is anything going on yet?
It's just Tony speaking.
Oh, okay.
I found a clip of Dana White explaining the brawl to some reporter, like some no-name reporter, which is really weird.
Keep an eye on that in case they issue some arrest warrants, or we find out that title isn't, that title is vacant again. But yeah, awesome co-main event, and like everybody said, at this point, Tony's got to fight. Whoever's champ, whatever happens by the time we wake up in the morning, Tony needs to be fighting somebody with a belt. That's pretty much all there is to it, barring him tripping over another cord or something crazy. Tony's got to get in there, and maybe we'll finally get Tony Khabib, like the fourth time.
Like 2 years from now, when Khabib's allowed to fight again.
Oh yeah.
According to this interview, the Nevada State Athletic Commission is holding everybody's checks, but I saw earlier that Conor's check has been let out to him. So
why are we holding up people's money?
Because that's how they fine you.
Oh. They took off one of the zeros from the.
Oh my god!
I mean, from if this event does what Dana said it was going to do, like Khabib stands to make like $8 million or something, and Conor like $55 million.
Yeah, right.
But that's only if it sells like 3 million pay-per-views, which it might have. Who knows?
I don't think so. I think it did. I think it's less than 1.5 easy. I don't think it sold that many.
I would say it's at least 1.5. I'll give him that.
You think so?
I think it's 1.5.
Once you get above 1 million pay-per-views, like it's just impossible to gauge like what the thing, like the return's going to be. Like they had no idea until the numbers came in that the Diaz fight did as well as it did. Like they just had no like. Once you get above 1 million, apparently the metrics get all skewed and no one can really tell.
It's like $3, $4, or $5 for every pay-per-view after like 1 million or something.
Yeah, it's like 5 to 6 after 600,000. That's what it was.
Really? I thought it was less than that. I thought it was like.
I read something about it earlier because they were saying the UFC after expenses and paying everybody and promotion and stuff like that. If this card does 3 million buys, they stand to make $76 million.
And I'll say, because I remember one of the questions we had on the mailbag episode was about them promoting this fight. Like I didn't watch a lot of the trailers because I'm just not. Well, honestly, I'm not that kind of person. But for this fight, I just wanted to see the fight. But I think they must have did a pretty good job promoting this because I saw a lot of people on my timeline who don't normally pay attention to MMA who were really interested in seeing how this fight was going to go. Even more interesting, like not everybody was picking Conor. Like, so the UFC did something. They got this out there to some people. So I wouldn't be surprised if this did hit 1.5. Albeit a lot of those people probably didn't pay for it. But
I just feel like McGregor is just a big enough star where, like, I saw some people saying, like, it doesn't feel like they're really pushing this one. But, like, with McGregor, like, with these stars that are just big enough to have, like, their own gravity, like, they don't really have to. I want to say that the thing said that they spent, like, $4 million on promotion, which, it for what they're standing to make is nothing, but like a McGregor tweet does as much as like $1 million in pay, like in marketing. So, but
Conor is a guaranteed mill every fight out.
Yeah, I would say he's giving you a mill off top.
Right, and for what it's worth, I think Khabib is probably the best star they could get in terms of like at lightweight, besides Nate. In terms of like a challenge that will like that will bump the buy rate up.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We'll see what those numbers look like. But that co-main event, man, another really awesome, brutally violent, bloody fight from Ferguson and Pettis. So shout outs to both of them. Moving on down the card, Dominic Reyes and Ovince St. Preux. boy, I was banking on Reyes winning this fight. I was like, dude, I've been hyping this dude up for so long. If you go out here and get flatlined in this first round, I was really gonna feel some kind of way. But nah, man, Reyes held it down. He was really sharp in that first round, man. He was lighting OSP up. Props to Reyes, I think, for fighting smart, because OSP is one of those dudes that, you know, he is inconsistent at times. He fights very unorthodox, but he can still crack. And if he catches you with one, you might go to sleep. So props to Reyes for like having these violent flurries, and like if the finish just wasn't there, he just kind of let off. I did get worried in the second and third round because it seemed like Reyes was kind of slowing down. And I was like, oh no, don't let OSP kind of pick up steam, and then we get in one of those situations like the Lewis Volkov fight, which we'll get to next. but nah, man, Reyes continues to show. I think this was a really tough fight for him, though. He definitely had to work to get this victory, which for me was expected. This is the biggest name he's fought, and I mean, as inconsistent as OSP can be, he's still a pretty good lightweight. I mean, this is a guy who still managed to go 5 rounds with John Jones, and and live to tell about it. But now Reyes, like I said, looked really sharp in the first round. He moves well for he's a big 205, or a tall 205er, but he moves really well, really diverse striking. Like I said, that second round he started to get tired. Third round started to get tired. He should have won by KO. I'll throw that out there. Like at the very, I don't even remember how much time was left on the clock. There was barely any time left.
There was literally a second left.
He floored OSP, and then the bell rung, and OSP was definitely not getting back up. I mean, eventually he did, but at the time when he got floored, that was a KO. Like, that should have been because you can't get saved by the bell. Like, so that should have been one of those situations. Like, if you don't get up, that's over. You're out of here.
The ref told him to get up, which I thought, should the ref I don't think the ref should have told him to get up, Like, it would have been a TKO for Reyes.
Yeah, it was, that was a weird it was a weird moment. I almost feel, I don't remember, was that Herb?
No,
I don't remember who ref that,
the bald guy. What's his name?
That moment kind of sucks, I think, for the ref, too, because that was literally a last-second, a last-second KO. So I felt like it was kind of like pandemonium. But, yeah, that should have been a KO. He should have gotten a finish for that.
It felt like that moment in Dragon Ball where Goku's fighting Roshi, and he has to stand up and say he's the champion to win the fight. Except OSP had to stand up to say, basically just to say, like, he didn't get knocked out.
Man. But I still don't think, even though it wasn't a finish, it should have been a finish. I don't think it takes away from a great performance. I will say, though, I wonder how he would handle a dude like a Gus. Because I think this was a really tough fight for him, I think. But again, at 205, it's kind of like, you beat a OSP and you're what, 10-0 now or something like that?
Yeah.
You kind of got to get thrown with the wolves after this. Like, you got to start fighting out with, like a Jan, Blachowicz, or, a Gus, one of those dudes. Please don't give him Shogun. I hope that fight.
Shogun's got to fight Tyson Pedro. So you're good for at least 2 months.
There we go. He's tied up.
Give him like Alir Latifi or something.
Yeah, that could work. That could work. I don't know if he's ready for like that top 2, but yeah, a guy like a Latifi or even like a Jan or somebody in that, I think would be good matchups for him next. And if he gets past those, then if he gets past those, there's nobody else left to fight. Like, you kind of just have to, fight for the belt at that point. But what did you guys think of his performance?
It was really good. This is only the second time he's ever gone to decision, so.
Somebody on Twitter said they got Khabib getting ushered out by the police like he's Stone Cold in '98. Oh man. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I found the better angle of Khabib jumping at Dylan Danis. I don't know if y'all are picking that up, but I'm watching it because it's hilarious. Because he literally jumps at him from the top of the edge of the corner. It's amazing.
Oh man.
But great performance from Dominic Reyes. I mean, any criticism I have of him is that he was a 9-0 fighter who would stop 8 guys in the first round. So we really didn't see him pass the first round, but he looked great. Like, that's as good as anybody has looked beating OSP, except for Ilir Latifi, who was the greatest fighter of all time. So
that picture of him on the horse is like.
Did you see the picture of him on the elephant?
No. Ilir Latifi is like he just doesn't look like a real person. Like
he doesn't look like he's from this century. Like,
right, like he was from like 2000 BC. He was like one of the first humans that was ever created, and he just got big because he just lifted logs all day. I keep watching this replay of Khabib landing the right hand on McGregor, and I forget, like, he tried that mini flying knee after. If he would have caught Conor with that. Oh, man. But nah, man, yeah, Reyes is... He floored McGregor. Jesus Christ. Oh.
Sorry, guys, we're just not over the main event yet.
No, like...
honestly.
Yeah.
What a magical night.
It was. This There's a reason we're recording this at 2:30 in the morning.
Oh god, it's 2:30 already?
Yeah. But moving on down, 'cause I'm sure we're all gonna feel this in the morning. Derek Lewis and Alexander Volkov.
On a night full of magical moments.
This is
Lewis
just a sign of things to come.
Derek Lewis is just the gift that keeps on giving.
Derek Lewis is so bad at MMA, but he's so good at it. Like, Derek Lewis can only exist at heavyweight. Like, I'm talking like skill wise, personality wise, just like the entire aura. Like, what are the odds that Derek Lewis has ever taken like a grappling class in his life? but for real, like, I think if I was to ask Derek Lewis how many grappling classes he has taken in his entire career, I could count them on both my hands. But you can't wrestle him because he's too round. Like, it's amazing.
What was bad about this fight was I had a post on Twitter queued up explaining, like, I couldn't believe how good Volkov was. I'm like, he's gotten so much better since Bellator. Like, if you would have told me the Volkov who was losing to like Minikov and Czech Congo
and Tony Johnson,
was gonna come in the UFC and just go on this run, I would have thought you were crazy. I had it queued up and ready to go. And Derek Lewis erased the whole tweet in one.
Aren't you glad he did, though?
Oh, yeah, because I put it on Twitter, like, in a perfect world, Derek Lewis would win every fight. But I thought Volkov was going to win this fight pretty easily. And it looked like that for 14 minutes and 99 seconds. Or how many ever seconds? It's late. I don't know what the second mark is.
It was 49 seconds. Like... Derek Lewis spent 90% of this fight getting, like, seriously beat up. Like keeled over, like, doubled over in pain because Volkov was punching and kicking him to the gut. And he looks like basically for all that time, it looked like he was about to be stopped.
And then he had that thing that was going on with his eye. Like, he kept just... he just kept, like, poking. I don't know what was... I hope his eye's really okay, though. I don't know what was going on with that eye. But, yeah. He should have gotten finished 80 times in this fight.
But Volkov didn't go for the kill because he's like, Derek Lewis is a madman. If he hits me, I will, probably freaking lose consciousness. And then it didn't matter because Derek Lewis hit him anyway. Like, just simple jab, overhand right as Volkov was trying to land another body kick. And then it was over.
Derek Lewis hit him so hard. He didn't know his own mouthpiece.
Oh, yeah.
I've never seen anything like that. His mouthpiece falls out, and he's trying to hand it to Lewis like, "Oh, this is yours." It's like, "No, bro, I punched this out of your mouth. Like, that's all you."
Oh my god.
And then the post-fight interview, and Joe's like, "Yeah, you've been on the, you take out a guy like that, you gotta be ready for a title shot." And he's like, "I gotta sit my black ass down. I gotta go do some cardio."
You left out the best part, where immediately after knocking Volkov out, he just took his pants off.
Oh my! What did he say?
Hey man, the reasoning was solid. Joe said, "Why'd you take your pants off?" And my balls was hot. And I mean, he didn't hesitate. Like, he said that straight face, no joke.
Oh my god, that was such a funny post interview.
Man. Like, it was just the way this whole card went. It just kept building up and kept building up, and it felt like every fight was just. It was like you were watching a TV show, and every episode was just getting better and better and better. And then that moment happened, and you're like, can it even get any better than this? And then you get Tony Ferguson and Pettis, and you're like, oh, we still got a main event. Can it get any crazier? And then we get ratings just went through the roof. Like, Jesus Christ. Yeah, the Volkov looked amazing for 99% of the fight, and then Lewis can still throw heat, and he threw heat, and it was over. And poor Volkov, he was probably literally like at the door of a title shot had he won this.
Yeah.
I mean, he's probably still not too far because it's heavyweight, but he emphatically got punched down the ladder a little bit. Like, yeah, it was bad. It was bad.
Derek Lewis is now, like... Is Derek Lewis the number one contender now? Like, who's... Like, who's a
I think they're gonna be forced to do Stipe versus Blackbeard.
Oh, my God. Like, I think Stipe... You can't match Derek Lewis up with people who make sound decisions.
Right.
That's not fun.
You're right. You got to give him somebody who's going to have one misstep
like
that he can just...
Overeem. Or, like, Junior Dos Santos. Like,
you know what? Let's not put that on Overeem. He's had enough.
if you're going to keep doing this stuff and you're going to hold up a ranking spot...
I think JDS would make sense, though.
You better be down the play. I'm just saying.
As much as I don't want to see JDS catch that wrath, if he catches one of them overhand rights, I mean, JDS is coming off the Ivanov win. I think that's a good matchup.
He has to get through Tai Tuivasa first, though.
Oh yeah, that is happening.
Oh, my friend just texted me and he said Conor is like refusing to press charges. If that means anything at all.
Said he's refusing?
Conor's not gonna press charges.
Dana White's at the dais.
He said what? Oh.
He's at.
All right, so I'll continue down the card. Let me know if Dana throws anybody in UFC jail, takes away a title, puts somebody in timeout.
Will do.
Yeah, that good stuff. But next fight going down the list, And this will round out the main card. Michelle Waterson and Felice Herrig. So this is going to be the one fight that's kind of hard for me to commentate on because I missed the first round. So I only saw the second and the third. But from what I gathered from this fight, Michelle Waterson landed a lot of video game kicks to Felice Herrig's face. I'm not really sure what Herrig's game plan was for this fight because I just saw a lot of her pushing her on the cage and not really doing a whole ton. And I think she got her to the ground a couple times. Still didn't really do a whole lot. And like even when Waterson was on her back, she was throwing elbows like it was nobody's business. Like she was really active off of her back. And the whole time I'm kind of watching Herrig. Well, as a Waterson fan, I was happy that Waterson was winning. But I'm kind of just looking at Herrig and I'm like, I don't know what you're trying to. Are you just trying to like hold her down? Like you're the bigger girl because Waterson is tiny for strawweight. It's amazing that she even competes at strawweight as small as she is because everybody has a size advantage over her. But Waterson held it down though. Lots of flashy kicks that landed. I think she took Herrig down a couple times. Like I said, Herrig didn't have a ton of. All right, the CompuStrike thing will probably prove me wrong because I think their stats were really close. But just watching it, just like with the eye test, it just felt like Herrig wasn't doing a ton of substance at least. But I only saw part of the fight, so I don't know. But that's kind of what I gathered.
I'll be honest. My mind is still a blur after that main event. I thought I remembered this fight, but I really don't know.
Oh man. Any Dana cuss anybody out yet?
They're saying that that Khabib might actually speak at the presser.
Jesus Christ.
So I can only imagine what that's going to be like.
Any thoughts on the Waterson Herrig fight?
It was a smart fight for Waterson. She did well in the clinch. Got off some really good knees and elbows on the inside. Was really framing well. Herrig, once she realized that she could not touch Waterson at range and that she had to bulldoze forward for like her for any attempt at like a takedown or a clinch position where she could actually land something. She did what she had to do to make it close. When she did get the takedown, she just didn't do enough with it. Like you got to throw some ground and pound. You got to rack up some points. You're down on the scorecards. But like she was just kind of content to like push Waterson against the cage and land some the knee she landed looked like they did some damage because like if you look at the side of Waterson's leg after the fight, it was like a little purplish. But like that's not stuff that the judges are going to remember. They're going to remember Michelle Waterson side kicking you in the face. so like you really got to make your offense a little bit more memorable if you're going to be having these like close quarters competitive fights. She did it at one point in the fight, but she I want to say it was at the beginning of the third round. She pushed Waterson up into the cage and cracked her with a hook. That it seemed to stun Waterson. I don't think she expected it. But I wanted to see more of that from her. You bully them into the position you want, and then you just go ham on them right there because that's the only spot that you can actually let offense in. So. But all around solid performance from Waterson. I think she's bulked up since she got to 115. She seemed pretty jacked in there compared to like when she was fighting like Jessica Penne at atomweight in Invicta. So solid performance from Waterson.
So that was the main card. On to the prelims. I don't lie, I don't remember this fight a ton. Who's Jussier Formiga and Sergio Pettis? I don't really have a lot to say about this fight. Now that I'm thinking about it, I just don't. I remember I think I was kind of fading in and out watching this. I just remember the end of the fight when Sergio's just holding Formiga on his back. They're just kind of walking around. But
walk around like a lost child.
Right. Pettis. Pettis is.
Justin, you think he's gonna finally break through like this?
Yeah, exactly. I was looking for this to be like, all right, you're fighting Formiga. This is a really good chance for you to really stake a claim at getting a title shot. Like, if you can go out and win this impressively, like, you can really cement that spot. And it's just...
Oh, hold up. Breaking news. Well, not breaking. Somebody, Ian Kidd tweeted this like 30 minutes ago, but one of the dudes who got arrested is Rizvan Magomedov, the Russian president of the Ali Abdelaziz Dominance MMA Management Group, for assaulting Dylan Danis.
The saga continues. But the aftermath of that brawl is just going to be out of control. We're going to see so many headlines. But, yeah, Pettis just... It was another one of those performances where you just kind of scratched your head, and it was so frustrating to watch, because I really felt like Pettis, as of late, has been hitting a good streak. I mean, he lost to Cejudo, but, you know, outside of that fight, he looked like he'd really been making improvements. He's been getting better. And then you get a fight like this, which I guess I probably shouldn't really have been surprised, because I think we've said it plenty of times on this podcast. Since Formiga's been in the UFC, he's been a top 5 guy and just somehow has never gotten a title shot. But he's always been a top guy. He just never really got a chance to show it against like Mighty Mouse. He never got on that big stage. So, like, by no stretch was this supposed to have been like an easy fight or a gimme fight. But, you know, Formiga just was able to control more. And I don't remember Pettis having a ton of output either. Like,
that
I don't know. It was a weird...
That's the story of Sergio Pettis. He gives fights away because he doesn't really have like an offense. Like, an output. He kind of just goes... Like, everything's like a sparring session with him. And... No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, to make a sports analogy, you hear this a lot in like NFL and the NBA. Like, certain teams have like identities. Like, you watch Golden State, this is run and gun. We're gonna pluck a bunch of threes in your face, and we're just gonna run you off the court because you can't keep up. If you watch, you know, my Spurs when we were in our heyday. You know, a very solid, super solid, fundamental team ball to the T. Like, certain teams just have, like, identities. And I feel like Sergio, there's, like, no... we have that with fighters, too. Like, you know a dude like Khabib, you know what you're going to get. You know a dude like Ferguson, what you're going to get. You know, DC, you know, certain fighters, you know what they are. And I still watch Pettis even at this point in career, and it's like, I don't know what really like your identity is. I don't know what you're solid all around, but you're not like like it's something missing. Like, you know, it's like he has all of the ingredients but one. He's missing that last KFC herb and spice or whatever. Like, he doesn't have that, whatever that it is. It's just he's missing something.
Dude just, like, he fights to be safe. Like, I theorize this is because he grew up alongside, like, Anthony Pettis, who was, like, bigger than him and a much more dynamic athlete than him. So anytime they were, like, in the Taekwondo class together and, you know, they were forced to spar with one another, Pettis was just, like, style on him for like 30 minutes in sparring. So Sergio basically learned growing up that, the only way I'm going to survive is if I do as little as possible and just try to like be defensively sound. And as a result, he's a low output kickboxer who It's a fundamental like his problem isn't wrestling. His problem is he does nothing to deter people from wrestling, man. Like no knees, no uppercuts, no. He's not bridging or anything like that. It's just straight up like I'm going to sprawl when they try to take me down, and that's basically it. And Formiga came out like really hot in this fight. Like he was throwing like 3-4 punch combinations, which is like way more than I'm used to seeing him throw. I was really confused for a second because he's very similar to Pettis, and he's not much of an output fighter himself. But once he got the takedown, I think he realized that he didn't really need to put much out there to get Pettis to like. So like Pettis would try to walk forward a little bit, and Formiga was just like dive on his hips. And just because Pettis wasn't throwing anything, Formiga was able to take him down with ease. So yeah, like if you're Sergio, you know you're down in the third round. You know you got your back taken, like by like the best back taker in MMA. Why are you not trying anything? Like he spent 3 minutes with Formiga on his back, just hand fighting, not even hand fighting, stalling, grabbing the wrist and like not like bringing it over his head so that he could like try to shake him off, or fighting the body lock, or trying to peel him off or anything. He was just stalling. He was waiting for Formiga to get tired, and that's kind of just like a microcosm of his game. He's not active enough, and I'm not even talking about just like throwing punches. I mean, like he's not playing the game enough to where he can draw the openings that he needs to win fights, and it's why he gets knocked out by like Ryan Benoit, and taken down by Henry Cejudo for 3 rounds. Because they don't have anything to fear coming back at them.
It's almost like he'll fight the fight that you want to fight. And if he can beat you at it, he'll beat you. But if he doesn't, there's no backup.
Exactly.
There's no recourse. So frustrating.
So, you got any thoughts on Sergio being a frustrating ass fighter to watch?
Not really. I only remember the third round. Like, I'm good. I don't need to rewatch the first and second round.
Yeah, the first round was pretty good. The second round was it was a Formiga fight in the second round.
How many times has Sergio got to the spot now though? Like 2 times now, right? To where it feels like he's gonna break through.
Yeah, that's it. Like I felt like he was gonna break through after the Moreno fight. He lost to Cejudo. Like he beats Benavidez off a layoff, and then he comes out and he looks the same as he always has against Jussier. Like, yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, like how many more shots is he gonna get? Like,
it depends.
He's still young though, right?
Yeah, I mean he's like 24.
He's still got plenty of time.
It all depends on if the UFC is going to be keeping this division for much longer, because Dominic Cruz kind of gutted out earlier in the week that they might be scrapping flyweight.
Yeah.
And I was honestly thinking after this fight was over, I was like, they're not giving Formiga a title shot.
No.
It's not happening. That's not happening. As much as he may deserve it, that's not going down. TJ's fighting Cejudo, either that or they'll do a DJ rematch, and we're just going to have to be happy with it. Those are the only 2 fights that are happening. There's no way we're not getting a pay-per-view with Cejudo Formiga. We're not. I'm sorry, any Formiga fans out there, and I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it. I'm just being realistic. That's not happening. We're not getting that.
Does that pay-per-view do 50,000 buys?
I mean, I don't know.
That would be a Fight Pass pay-per-view.
Which sells more, Cejudo, Formiga, or Liddell and Tito?
Oh, Liddell Tito.
Liddell Tito is bringing in the big bucks.
Liddell Tito will do better business than most UFC title fights this year.
You think so?
I'm confident.
It depends on how many people they can like. It depends on how many old MMA fans they can activate, because they don't have the because there are guys who watch the Tito and like Liddell era of MMA and just like they tuned the fuck out when they left.
Yeah, and now they're like, oh, they're back, and they forget that Chuck is 75.
I don't know. Like I felt like I think if someone's gonna get like 100K, like 200 max.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if it does anywhere from like 100K to like 400,000. To be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
I never underestimate the power of a freak fight.
Dude, imagine if they put this on free TV. Like it get like I think it could get like 10 between 5 and 10 million people.
Jesus.
Oh yeah.
It's doing that.
As much as none of us want to admit it, we're all watching the train wreck.
Oh yeah.
I'm front and center.
Dude, you can catch me on the stream.
Yeah. First in line. All right. Let's get to this next fight so I can vent a little bit. Vicente Luque and Jalen Turner. So I'll throw this out there. I don't remember the episode that Jalen Turner was on the Contender Series. Like, I watched the Contender Series, but I didn't watch all of them. So I feel like I might have missed his episode, but like I pretty much got the gist of what they were saying. Like, this was a guy who I would assume performed really well on that show, and that, they wanted to see, obviously what he could do. That's all cool. That's great. That's good. And in the first round, I was like, oh, I see why they liked him. Like, for a guy, I don't remember how old he is, but for a new fighter, for this to be your first UFC fight, he was really poised. He was really composed. He seemed like a really good striker. There were tools I saw that I'm like, I see why people like him. And then I pay attention to the matchup. And then I start watching Luque tee off on this dude. And then I just start to wonder, like, why? You got a prospect. Obviously, you have to feel some kind of way about this guy because you threw him on a Fox Sports prelim. Right under the feature prelim. So you think something of him. You have to. But I would think he would give him a squash match. Remember Wonder Boy's first fight? And I'm not comparing Jalen Turner to Wonder Boy by any means. But you remember Wonder Boy's first fight? We all knew Wonder Boy was going to mop the floor.
How dare you underestimate Dan Stigen?
We all knew that poor Dan was brought in as a sacrificial lamb so Wonder Boy could have a highlight reel that we all could talk about the next week, and boy, did that happen.
That fight, it's really funny because that fight kind of represents his UFC career in one round. Like a lot of standing around and staring, and then occasionally he does something crazy.
Oh my god.
But it's just like, so you have to think something of this Turner guy, and then you throw him in with someone. I don't remember Luque's record, but I'm pretty sure he had way more experience than Turner did. Not to mention Luque, just as we saw, the man is a savage. So it's like, and I get it. There were circumstances like surrounding this fight, like it was on short notice. Turner went up a weight class, which is wild. I don't see how he makes 55. That's another conversation. But so I don't know. Maybe it was just a thing like they needed to fill in a fight, because obviously I don't know who pulled out of what or how it went down, but I know it was a short notice fight, so I get it. But it's just kind of like, how do you throw your prospect? Just there had to have been somebody else.
So I don't think Jalen.
Well, no, I think Turner stepped in.
I don't think this was a late replacement. This was just a late. They needed the spot filled on the card, so they just called up on what's his name, Vicente Luque, and got him an opponent. And from what I can tell, like I don't think Turner was one of the dudes who got awarded a contract. I think he was just like one of the dudes who was on the show and ended up winning. But I heard this pretty good theory about why this keeps happening, where they keep getting these like these Dana White Contender Series dudes, and I agree with you full stop. Like the whole point of the Contender Series is so okay, we bring in 10 dudes, and then at the end of the night we get like 1 or 2 of them who really stand out, and we give them the slow build. And and you know they get all this extra promotion because they're on the show and everything like that, and they're associated with Dana White and whatever. But that's not how they've been using it. So, and I'm starting to get the feeling this is all kind of on Dana. As in, like, if like going back to like Tough, when Dana would sign entire seasons of the cast just because he fucking liked the way they fought one night. And then like Joe Silva and Sean Shelby would just be sitting there scratching their heads, being like, "What the fuck are we supposed to do with these guys?" I think it's a similar situation where like, oh, the Contender Series, oh, there were like, we're only supposed to give out 2 contracts, but I'm gonna give out 6 tonight because you guys were awesome. And then Sean Shelby's just fucking screaming inside his head. He's like, there are 600 fighters on this roster. Where am I going to get these guys fights? Like, and then like shit like this ends up happening. We're like, okay, you know what, Jalen Turner, we need somebody to fight Vincent Luque. Go ahead.
Good
Sink or swim.
I mean, to his credit, he had a couple moments, I guess. I don't know. He for that to be a debut, I can't really ask that much of you. But yeah, you kind of went in there. I mean, you landed a few good shots, but Luque kind of cleaned them.
You know what my rant's gonna be about for this fight? Why the fuck does the UFC keep booking their exciting welterweights so poorly? Like, Kamaru Usman gets a slow build. Kobe Covington gets the proper build and gets to be on like TV and shit and pay-per-view for his fake title fight that they instantly took away from him. But like Vicente Luque gets to fight a dude in his UFC debut, and Luque's like 6-2 in the UFC and stopped everybody he's ever fought or ever beat in the UFC. And then you got like Zaleski dos Santos, who's fighting on Fight Pass prelims on Brazilian fight nights against dudes who probably couldn't even freaking carry his water in the gym. Like, why are these dudes not on TV making this division look good? Or like, why are they not getting fights that can help them push the division further along? Like, why are we stuck? Like, why are they trying to burn out Mike Perry? They don't even like Mike Perry. And like, I recognize that, oh my god, they are going to run this dude into the ground.
Yeah, I think that train.
that
train left.
That train is almost there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and what's the other dude's name? Medeiros. Like Yancey. They just have him fight Cowboy Cerrone because fuck it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand why it's the exciting welterweights who get the weird go nowhere matchups, and like Darren Till gets a title shot off of stalling out Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. You know what I mean?
And missing weight. I saw somebody bring this up on Twitter, so I'll pose this question real quick before we go to the next fight. Is it fair to say at this point, does Bellator do a better job at raising their prospects than the UFC now?
I think Bellator has an easier job.
Yeah.
I think it's unfair because Bellator doesn't have a roster of 600 fighters. They don't have to put on... I shouldn't say they don't have to. The UFC chooses to put on like 40 plus cards a year. And like and just being real, Bellator only has the one format. They're all going to be fighting on Paramount. Unless they're fighting, I guess now they have like DAZN, but like they got, and they also only have to focus on like 1 or 2 guys in each division. Like, okay, they get to focus on at featherweight, they get to focus on AJ McKee and James Gallagher. At welterweight, they get to focus on like Ed Ruth and Neiman. Is it Neiman Gracie?
Yeah.
Neiman Gracie and I don't know, like who else is at that division?
MVP.
And MVP. You know, at middleweight they get to bring along Rafael Lovato Lovato Jr. Like they have such an easier time of it. Like in terms of just like getting these guys slow builds and easy wins on TV. Like
and Bellator is like more likely to just sign a dude just for like one fight, you know, and have him be like a showcase fight for one of them, you know.
Yeah.
And then we'll never see that person again.
Exactly. Like Justin Lawrence for AJ McKee, that would have been like AJ McKee's first fight in the UFC. So, like, it's such an Bellator does a better job, quote unquote, because like their job's just a little bit easier. Like once they have the hard part for Bellator is getting talent in the door. Like they can build a dude up because there's just space. Like how many dudes on the Bellator prelims are ever going to fight there again? Like Jalen Turner fought on the Bellator prelims, and he was gone after one fight. So it makes sense why Bellator is better at it. Is because it's not the UFC's focus, to be honest.
And I guess the UFC can somewhat get away with it because they are deeper. So you lose the Jalen Turner, but I guess they figure, you know, the revolving wheel just kind of keeps going.
Exactly.
There'll be another Jalen Turner.
Eventually, somebody is going to be a phenom, and like somebody's going to be like a Conor McGregor and just win 7 in a row by knockout. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. You'll get enough.
Except that heavyweight or light heavyweight or whatever. Except I guess now Dominic Reyes, but you get the idea.
But yeah,
I feel like all of hardcore fans, like we've been complaining about UFC matchmaking for years now, and it's just like I'm just tired of it. Like I don't even want to try to think like what they're thinking anymore. You know. I just give up. Like, just fucking do whatever you guys want.
I think at this point with like the title fights, the way they go now, I've kind of just accepted it. But I just feel like for the younger guys, there should be some kind of structure going on.
Yeah.
Like, because at this point, you don't want to have these dudes getting wasted out here.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Mainly for the younger guys is what I meant.
Yeah. Bring them along. Don't get them killed off right away.
I think Joey said it best. Like, we like to think that the UFC has a plan. And they're just filling dates, man. Like, that's all that matters to them. Like, we have a pay-per-view coming up. Oh, Colby Covington can't make it. Fuck it, we'll strip his title and let Darren Till fight Tyrone Woodley. Like, we have to fill a Fox Sports spot on the UFC 229 prelim. Fuck it, let's have Vicente Luque fight some dude who like has fought like one guy with a winning record. Like sometimes it's just about filling dates.
I'll say all that to say though, props to Luque. He went out there and caught a body.
Dude, absolute savagery, just like grabbing around the head as he's spinning and hitting him. Oh crap. Khabib's at the desk.
Oh.
All right, I'll move on to the next fight. You keep us posted. All right. Next fight, Aspen Ladd, Tanya Evinger. I don't remember specifics of this fight, but I just remember watching it and thinking, "Oh, Evinger, you're getting bodied. It is not looking good." And before I knew it, Aspen Ladd just kind of beat the bricks off of her. I can't remember what her record is. Is she undefeated? I think she's still undefeated. I want to say. I'm not sure. But...
I don't understand how people can talk about I jump.
No, I was listening.
I know, right? I want to hear this shit.
This whole podcast is about to turn into the press conference.
Will there be copyright laws involved in this?
They don't care about that, do they? I don't know. But, Aspen Ladd put the pause on Evinger, and I heard she called out who did she cut? She threw out 2 names I heard. I think it was Betch, Correa, and it was somebody else. I think it was Ngannou, I want to say.
I don't even remember this fight either, honestly.
It wasn't a lot to remember. Aspen, she destroyed her. It wasn't close at all.
Yeah. I just saw that she was from like my general area, and I was like, oh, cool. And then the fight ended. I was like, oh, cool, she won.
I mean, at this point, bantamweight needs new life. New people to get excited about. So, hey, man, if she wants to fight Betch, I say go ahead. Why not?
Yeah.
Just make it happen. And I'm glad she came over from Invicta because I really remember her in Invicta. Okay, yeah, she is undefeated.
How many fights does she have in the UFC?
This was her debut.
Oh.
No.
Second.
I lied. She's 2-0.
Oh.
Yeah, she beat Landsberg first.
Just a quick note from Khabib. He's asking why people are still asking, like, why are they asking about him jumping the cage, when he's basically saying all the shit we said, like, they attacked his dad, they attacked the bus, religion, his ethnicity, all that other stuff. He puts it on the media because they keep reporting all the trash talk as opposed to like treating it like a sport. So that's where we're at on that front.
See, told y'all, it's not a game. People are really.
I kind of really like that. Khabib's crew is like the ones that are willing to throw hands, and Conor's crew is just the guys that like to talk. I feel like that's like really exciting.
Khabib was just like,
Oh, sorry. All right, let me cut it off.
He's done. Khabib's done. He basically
he
said Conor posted that picture with Vladimir Putin at the World Cup. And he's just like, Vladimir Putin just called me, told me he was proud of me.
So he's
they was out.
So apparently, I'm watching a video. They're saying from the other angle that Conor actually did something at Khabib's crew first.
Oh.
So I'm watching this video. I'm sorry, people. I'm watching this.
I saw Conor throw a punch.
So I didn't realize this until I'm watching it from this angle. When we say Khabib jumped out the cage, he really jumped.
He jumped.
Like
he jumped straight at doing Dennis.
Like he went airborne. Oh my God. He really jumped like movie star, like the final action scene, I'm busting in the window to save the day. That was wild. But moving on to the next fight.
I'm sorry, I just saw Derek Lewis's comment on the brawl. It was just shit I thought was entertaining. I was happy to see it.
We're with
Derek
you.
Lewis
We're with you, Black Beast.
Derek Lewis, the GOAT.
The real GOAT.
Oh, man.
Hold up. Where is he at? Josh Gross.
But to keep it rolling, next fight was Scott Holtzman and Alan Patrick. A lot of these fights, you're going to hear me say the same thing. I don't remember them in much detail. Keep in mind, we're recording. It is now 3:10 a.m. None of us have rewatched any of these fights. But
I'm so glad I don't live on the East Coast.
Oh yeah, I'm going to be so old and washed in the morning.
Having to wait till 10 p.m. to watch like basketball or UFC, that would suck. I couldn't do that.
That's why I never watch any West Coast NBA games.
Yeah, I'm a Lakers fan, and
no.
there's no way. Fuck, man.
Oh man, but all I remember from the Holtzman fight is that Holtzman looked really good, probably the best I think we've seen from him, and that finish with those elbows was pretty savage. Like he held down on Patrick's face and then like pushed off and then just drilled his elbow like 3 or 4 consecutive times until Alan Patrick just died. That's all I got for that fight.
Yeah. Fucking, that show's over from the get-go. Like, Holtzman, great performance.
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't know, man.
Patrick, man. Dude's been in the UFC for like 6-7 years now. I want to say like longer than you would think for a guy who has like only 5 fights in it, or 5 or 6. This might have been a 7. He's been in the UFC since 2013. He's averaging like a fight a year.
Jesus, man.
Yeah.
How do you pay the bills like that?
I mean, I assume he's not getting paid through MMA. Maybe through like bodybuilding or whatever, because motherfucker is jacked. But yeah, no, dude has always just kind of skated by him, just being a really big athletic wrestler. Like, he's not a very good striker. He's not even a very good wrestler, to be honest. He just is a really good shot, and he's really big and strong. So he got in there with a guy who was equally athletic and a better wrestler and just an all-around better technician. And Holtzman picked him apart. Like, those big-ass lunging, like, left hands that Patrick was throwing, Holtzman was just stepping inside and just countering every single one of them with just, like, a straight shot down the middle. And that's eventually what got him the knockdown that led to the end of the fight. So just really, like, Holtzman's just becoming, like, a really good fighter all around. Sucks that he fights at lightweight because, you know.
Good luck climbing up that ladder, buddy.
Yeah, especially at 35 years old. Like,
okay, so now that we're gonna keep bringing it back to this post-fight fight. So now that I've rewatched this video a couple of times, so Khabib jumps over the fence. He does his daring dash into the crowd. Behind him, like 5 seconds after he jumps off, Conor follows up behind him and tries to jump out. They pull Conor back. While they're pulling Conor back over the cage.
my favorite part of this video, by the way, is the guys in red jumping the cage as opposed to running out the door.
Yeah, the door was wide open and nobody ran out the door. But while they're pulling Conor back into the cage, simultaneously one of Khabib's dudes is jumping over, I guess, to go help Khabib, and Conor clearly swings at him first. Now, I'll give Conor a little credit and say that this is kind of pandemonium and a brawl's happening right now. So I guess it's kind of anybody can get it. But he did throw the first punch in terms of, I guess, the inside brawl that went down. He did throw the first punch, which would probably be why he can't press charges, or why he's not pressing charges, because you threw the first punch.
I think it just hurts his image.
Yeah, that too. But all right, it's 3:15 a.m. We'll breeze through these next 3.
Send me that video.
Oh, just a little bit of serendipity. Guess who Zabara Tukov was supposed to fight on October 27th? Artem
Lobov? Oh, man.
But according to Dana, anybody involved in the brawl on Khabib's side who has a UFC contract is no longer in the UFC. So ends the fun, I guess.
Dana, don't. We could be getting part 2 of this.
Honestly.
Going on to the next fight, Yana Kunitskaya, Lena Landsberg. All I remember from this fight is being very angry at Anik because he pronounced Kunitskaya 40 different ways in 5 seconds. And I was like, dude, just say Yana. Like, clearly you can't pronounce this last name. Just stop. I'll be honest, I don't remember much of the fight other than Yana won. But I can't give specifics.
She kind of push-kicked Lena Landsberg a lot. Took her down a couple times. Beat her up in the clinch a little bit. I mean, it wasn't this was probably the worst fight of the night. It wasn't bad. It was just kind of there, you know.
Yeah, compared to the other fights, yeah.
like if this was on a bad card, it might stand out a little bit more, like as as a bad fight. But like considering all the crazy shit that happened on this card, it's like barely even a blip in my mind.
Yeah.
I mean, props to Kunitskaya for getting her first win in UFC after getting sacrificed to Cyborg.
Yeah, good way to come back. Definitely way to come back. Do we have to talk about Nick Lentz and Gray Maynard?
Gray Maynard, please retire.
Yeah. I know you had your moment. You landed like a right hand, and it was looking like it was gonna be okay. It's not okay. Let's call it a career, man. It's been fun. It's been a good ride. But yeah, we can end that.
No shame in your career, man.
Not at all. Not at all. You're only getting shame if you keep coming back. So just go home, relax, become a coach. Pretty sure you got a lot of knowledge to impart. You know, just take that route.
Gray, go restart your career in bare knuckle boxing.
No. Stop. No. We cannot encourage this kind of
Gray Maynard versus Johnny Hendricks? That'd be kind of cool.
Oh my God. If Gray Maynard got KO'd in a bare knuckle fight, that would...
His face would just explode.
Yeah. It would not be a good look. Now I don't got much else to say about that fight. Next, and the last fight of the evening, Tony Martin and Ryan LaFleur. Tony Martin moving up to welterweight has been a good thing for him. I love head kicks, and this gave me a head kick, so I was pretty happy. I don't think LaFleur was happy, but, you know, it is what it is. Tony Martin got a head kick in and some punches. I remember this being it was an entertaining fight. I don't remember specifics other than head kick, punches. Good night, LaFleur.
I honestly forgot Tony Martin was a person.
Dude, he had a pretty solid performance against Keita Nakamura. I remember that.
Did not watch that.
I mean, who can blame you? But this fight just kind of just highlights to me that like lightweight is so much better than 170. Because Tony Martin wasn't even like a fringe top 20 guy. Like he was maybe like top 50. And then he moves up to welterweight and knocks out like a fringe top 15 guy in Ryan LaFleur. So.
In very impressive fashion.
Yeah. Beat his ass too. Like.
Oh man. But yeah, that was UFC 229. Craziness. This whole card was just, like I said, this card was like watching a TV show, and I would say starting with like the Fox prelims, even though the Fight Pass prelims have finishes on them, I feel like with the Fox prelims, like every fight just seemed to get better and better and better. And, all right, a little. We had filler episodes with Formiga and Pettis. That was like a filler episode. Then it picked back up on the main card, but it just got better and better and better. And then we got the fight of all fights, and then we got the post fight of all post fights. And this is one of the greatest nights I think any of us have ever witnessed. There's a reason we're recording this at 3:20 a.m. now. Because it's like we just had to get real live, instant just reactions, and yeah, this night was crazy. But it's 3:20 a.m. so we'll get ready to close out. So we'll just do parting shots and shout outs before we roll out of here. I'll just give a couple of shout outs to other cards that happened. You guys should check out. One Championship 81 Kingdom of Heroes went down on Saturday. That was today, right?
This morning.
Yes.
This morning.
Yeah. I mean, yesterday morning at this point.
Technically yesterday morning, but early Saturday morning that card went down. Shinya Aoki had a really dominant performance over Ev Ting. Check that out. This card had kickboxing, MMA, and boxing all on one card. It was pretty wild, but it was a pretty good card. So we say this every episode. If you don't have the One Championship app, go download it. You can watch all the cards for free, and their cards as of late have been pretty good. So give that a look. And PFL, I think it was PFL 8 went down. Shout outs to that. Josh Copeland had I ain't gonna say KO of the year, but he put himself on a KO of the year, at least highlight reel. He knocked Alex Nicholson into another planet, a whole nother just hemisphere. He caught Nicholson with a right hand and just ended his entire life. And now he puts himself in a position to win $1 million. And shout outs to Lance Palmer and Andre Harrison, man. It wasn't the greatest fight in the world, but those are two of PFL's best talents. And they fought before, and Andre won the first one. And in the rematch, Lance Palmer handed Andre his first professional loss after, I think, 20 fights, which is pretty crazy. And now he advances. I don't remember who he's fighting in the finals, but he gets a chance to make $1 million. So, shout outs to him. And shout outs to my long. Oh, Steven. Oh, he's gonna. I don't see he's gonna. He might wash Siler. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. For $1 million, Siler might pull out all the stops. But shout outs to that. Shout out to my Texas Longhorns. Red River Shootout. 48-45. We in here. I did not think the Longhorns were gonna have a good season, but we're starting off pretty good. We're eking out wins that I was positive we would lose. But we were hanging in there. So that's all I got for shout-outs. I don't have any. And parting shots just for people who are fake disgusted at Khabib if you're not being consistent with your quote-unquote disgust. So shot at you. Man up. Be consistent. And that's all I got.
So you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. Parting shot goes out to New York Yankees. Fuck you guys. Another parting shot to Rogan and the crew. You guys are ass. Another parting shot to Conor and the crew. You guys just got big mouths and you guys don't back it up. And my one shout out goes to my very own Oakland A's, who were predicted to be last place in the division, but ended up having an improbable run and making it to the wild card. So I'm proud of the boys, and they'll be back next year. Go A's. Fuck the Yankees.
There you have it.
All right. First shout out. Shouts to Pusha T for the king of all petty ass tweets. Was it great win, Team Khabib? Sometimes you gotta burn the whole house down. I understand.
Hey man, that's facts.
All right, and shouts to Kareem Zidane, who actually asked the UFC management earlier this week if they had plans for potential security risks at this event, considering all the characters involved. And they declined to comment. So that shows you how on the ball they were. You would think that they understood this was I don't want to say this was always going to happen, but
the potential
was there. Yes, because they knew, because they had a whole damn press conference in New York and didn't invite anybody because they were worried about the security risks. I don't know why they thought it would end when one of them lost in the cage, but I think it is what it is. So shouts to Kareem Zidane for pointing that out. Shouts to everybody who went on this card who's going to have their win just completely overshadowed by the craziness. Yeah.
Worth it.
Shouts to us, because that was a great night of fights. And mayhem, so I'm here for the pettiness.
Yes, pettiness is a part of life.
It's part.
Shout out to Joey, who couldn't join us because he's an uncle now.
Yes.
Right? Shout out to Joey.
Who's also holding down Tumblr, being the level head in this situation.
while everybody else is just oh man. Also, people are really going off about this alternate angle. Oh man.
What are they saying?
Twitter's gonna be really because now it's coming out that Conor threw the first.
Oh.
You know, yeah. It's gonna be fun. The Twitter is gonna be this is gonna be a interesting week. but yeah, shout out to Joey, man. Be a good uncle. I have no doubt you'll be a good uncle. So have fun with that.
You know, actually, before we go, shout out to the Nevada State Athletic Commission. Like, how do you choose your security detail? Why are they all like 60-year-old men?
I think you know how they run foul drills? They need to run like fight drills because nobody knew that door was open. Like nobody took advantage of the door being open. Everybody was jumping over the cage and the door was just...
They're like, maybe if we take more time, it'll stop by itself. Shouts to Khabib, who has over 1 million mentions on Twitter right now.
Legend.
I mean,
hey man, you know what? As crazy as this event and people are quote unquote outraged, I bet you he's gonna gain a lot of fans after.
I mean, dude, like the president, Vladimir Putin is calling him to congratulate him on his fights, if that's true. And if not, who cares? He's gonna go home and be treated like a damn king for the rest of his life.
I'll be honest. I'm like a bigger Khabib fan now.
I'm just here for the chaos. I'm here for all the shenanigans. I'm here for, you know, I enjoy a good train wreck. Really, I don't even know if this would count as a train wreck.
I'm gonna count this as a train wreck on the UFC's part because again, they should have saw this shit coming.
Yeah. That's fair. That's fair. Boy, you think they ever do a rematch?
You never know.
If it's up to the UFC, the answer is yes. Like Dana was really non-committal about it. He was just like, first we got to see what the State Athletic Commission and the cops say and blah blah blah. But like, I'm assuming that the State Athletic Commission's investigation won't really drop until Meltzer's pay-per-view estimates drop. If you catch my drift.
Yeah.
Yeah, so who knows? Worst come to worst. I'm not gonna say worst because Khabib probably should be punished for this. Probably, definitely, but like worst come to worst for the UFC. They run Tony Ferguson, Conor McGregor. Conor beats Tony for like an interim title, and like a year or two from now, they fucking run this fight back.
Boy, if they run this rematch, that trailer better be epic. You know how there is so much to pull from now. Oh man, but yeah, I'll just close it out saying, well, all of us minus Stoges, we don't condone.
I enjoy being the scumbag in this situation.
I'm sorry, I wasn't laughing at that. I was laughing. This cameraman goes over the.
Did he try to jump over and like follow one of them?
Dude, this dude jumps over a cameraman and tries to body press like the. I don't even know who the fuck he's trying to body press. It's hilarious.
We got stray casualties just in the brawl. Poor guy probably wasn't on either side. He was just standing too close to somebody. Oh man. But yeah, just to close it out, we don't condone, but like we said, man, be consistent with your outrage. If you're this disgusted at Khabib, I hope you were this disgusted at Conor. And if you were not, I don't really care to hear what you have to say.
If you weren't one of those people out there upset when Conor was fucking Instagramming photos of himself in like Chapo t-shirts, like El Chapo, then I don't want to hear shit about like, oh, this is the most disgusting thing in MMA history.
Yeah. But yeah. So that's it. I mean, by the time you guys hear this, I normally wait till Tuesday to put these out. Now I'm putting this out tomorrow. Well, all right, it's technically today.
Do it.
This will be out in another 8 hours when I wake back up.
Can I close this out on one hella strong fucking serious ass shit comment Khabib made to Dana after the fight?
Yeah.
If I have to be arrested, I'll be arrested. I just want you to put my belt on me.
God, what a fucking legend.
Thug
I
life.
love this man.
Thug life. I will go to jail. It doesn't matter, but give me my belt.
Greatest lightweight
Give
of
me
all
my belt.
time. You can't change my mind.
Oh man, but we will talk about this. I'm pretty sure many more times over. I have a feeling this is going to be a saga that continues. But as always, you guys can catch us on YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes. If you're on iTunes, please rate, subscribe, and leave a review. It helps out a lot. Send questions to dojotalkpodcast@yahoo.com. And you can hit me up on Twitter at Serial Sensei. And that's all we got. So, as always, anytime people are being punched and or kicked in the face, we will be there to talk about it. And until then, we will catch you guys next time.